Hawick on one win, not far behind them, but they haven't really stitched their best play together yet, and they're suffering a catalogue of injuries to key players. Nevertheless, as always, when these two old rivals meet, there's a tremendous tussle in store. So let's go down and have a look at the sides. And this Hawick side contains two full internationalists in Tony Stanger and Greg Oliver, and a couple of B-caps in Captain Ronnie Nicholl and hooker Jim Hay. Sadly, no Derek Turnbull in the back row lineup. His replacement today, Tommy Smith. Stanger and Nick Bannerman provide the cutting-edge midfields, whilst Greg Oliver adds direction from the scrum base. A 17-stone power weightlifter, Kevin Beverley, is the tight-head cornerstone of a Hawick pack still in the rebuilding phase, but which contains such useful citizens as Southlock Stuart Graham and number 8 Derek Willison. And Jed Forest, captained by British line Gary Armstrong, retained the side which scored 10 tries last Saturday against Edinburgh Wanderers. The Hughes brothers and Harry Hogg are the muscle in a solid three-quarter line, behind whom Gregor McKechnie has been in sparkling form. Gary Armstrong and Donald Miller are a thoroughly experienced half-back link, and in front of them, 7 of this young Jed pack have at some time represented Scotland at under-21 level. Of them, Neil McElroy and Ronnie Kirkpatrick recently received their call-up papers for the senior Scotland squad. And today's referee, Mr. Jim Johnstone from Gala Rugby Club, whom we saw last week in Rugby Special, in this, his 4th season of Division 1 refereeing. And so the sun shining here at Riverside Park for the first time almost in 24 hours, as David Gordon, the Hawick centre, kicks off to get the games underway, taken by Gregor McKechnie down at the town end of Riverside Park. And a really wonderful opening kick by McKechnie there, returning that Hawick kick-off with interest. So Armstrong with the put into this scrummage. And just looking to see what's happened in that Jed scrum. In fact, it's Callum Brown who's had to go up to hooker because Kevin Barry is still off. The Jed hooker's still off. Jed still at 7 forwards. High kick there by Gary Armstrong. Whittaker underneath it, takes it beautifully and did the sensible thing there, just walked into touch. There's Kevin Whittaker. That's his first touch of the high ball coming at him, and really he dealt with it very well indeed. But a fine kick by Armstrong, really brought the best out of the full back. Callum Brown with the throw in for Jed. Hawick they want to drive this away from that try line of theirs. You can see the Hawick try line. Greg Oliver has on the left foot, that stronger foot of his. McKechnie with a left-footed drop goal. Well, that's long and high, and up goes the referee's arm straight between the sticks. So a magnificent drop goal there by Gregor McKechnie puts Jed Forest ahead in 8 minutes. Again, Hawick managing to get that vital first touch on the throw-in. Good throwing by Jim Hay. And they open up again, the miss move. Out it comes to Bannerman, to Sudden rather. This is Bannerman. He's caught and held by Hogg and by young Alistair McElroy. McKechnie trying to set it up and tidy it up. This is Callum Brown, the wing forward, number 7 for Jed. Armstrong to Miller. First time Jed have opened out. Hogg. This is Barry Hughes. He has his brother Brian outside. Now Brian Hughes trying to get past Whittaker. Tries the handoff, but Whittaker brings him down. And Hughes very cleverly left the ball there so that the Jed players could keep the continuity on the movement. Alistair McElroy, number 11, first up. And a tremendous tussle for this ruck ball. Here it comes now. Will Armstrong go on his own? Feeds on to Kevin Barry. Support's not there. This is Stanger. Now here's where the gap's going to occur. Stanger brought down by McKechnie. Almost on halfway. Tony Stanger's break there, well, it was almost a break, and it was the sort of situation, a fragmented situation, where players are out of position that he can exploit so well. He really is the great taker of chances. Armstrong to Miller. Miller under pressure there. The pass just a little bit high, but he's done the right thing. He's got his team going forward. Brilliant take by Kevin Whittaker. And that ball was out, so Hawick were entitled to come round. Jed seemed to be just a wee bit better organised in their positioning going into ruck. Miller again under pressure, and again the ball skating away from his fingertips, but Hawick caught offside. And another position here from which Jed could possibly land a penalty goal. Now what he has to do in this situation, of course, is to make sure that his supporting foot is firmly planted in the turf. Then get the rhythm, and here he goes. Lovely left-footed swing. Yes, he seemed to hit that one beautifully. That's right between the uprights again. A second score for Gregor McKechnie, a penalty goal to add to his drop, and Jed Forest go ahead at 6 points to 0. A real experienced competitors in the number 9 jerseys today, aren't they? There's Gary Armstrong, this diving scoop pass to Donald Miller. Long pass out, this time it's Gregor McKechnie, gets away from one tackle. McKechnie, the wee kick ahead, Whittaker's there. Oh, and he's got the follow-up tackle by Kirkpatrick. Jed, this is Gary Armstrong, looking for the gap. And the throw forward there, again, this greasy ball just not going to target. But some nice passages of continuous play there. That one set up by Gregor McKechnie, beating the tackle, the wee chip ahead, and then the ruck ball for Armstrong. Well, there's the Hawick try line, just off to the left of the picture. Guarded by Kevin Whittaker and Keith Sudden. Jed half Kirkpatrick, good control with the Jed back. Now what does Jim Johnson give this time? Offside by Hawick, penalty kick to Jed. McKechnie then. Good contact, good rhythm. Yes, the roar behind you in the grandstand tells you the Jed faithful know that that one has gone between the sticks. McKechnie, 3 out of 3. So Scott Welsh in what's becoming the familiar restart position now, the kickoff from the centre. Again, Kevin Armstrong takes. Jed have secured that. Good blocking, good feeding. And Donald Miller, with all the time in the world really, just finds his touch almost on the Hawick 10. Yes, and a wee smile on Donald Miller's face because he knows the forwards did their stuff well there, and the service from Armstrong was pinpoint accurate. And of course it makes life so much easier. Again, Stuart Graham jumping highest, trying to get the ball for Hawick. A wee bit untidy that time. There's Stuart Graham with his socks at his ankles. He's played for the South regularly last season. There with that untidy scrummage ball. They're on the Hawick 10. Of course, the lines have just about been obliterated by the heavy overnight rain, and it's been torrential in Jedburgh this Saturday morning. And you can see the pitch in front of the stand just beginning to cut a little bit. Jim Johnson calls for the scrimmage. Kept in by Kirkpatrick at number 8, well protected. The crash ball, Barry Hughes looking for linkage. He gets it from Kevin Armstrong. He's well taken down by Willison. Gary Armstrong, the up and under again. Whittaker waits. Great catch there by the Hawick full back. Got on his feet very quickly there, Kevin Whittaker. And just popped the ball away into touch with help from Keith Sudden. So young Kevin Whittaker there, twice he's been tested by Gary Armstrong's high up and unders, and twice he's answered the call. Kevin Barry with the throw. Pringle gets the deflection, swept by Brown. And the rolling maul, the rumbling rolling maul, taking play closer to the Hawick line. Now it's switched open. Harry Hogg coming back to strength. Drives on. Barry has it. Ronnie Nicholl, the Hawick captain there, just trying to get his troops mustered. But the Jed driving positions in these rucks and mauls is lower, and it's better. Mechanically it's sounder. They're making the headway. Jim Hay striking well. They're almost getting the ball against the head. Now Jed going for the pushover. Kirkpatrick has it at his feet. And there's the dive, the pick up and dive by Ronnie Kirkpatrick to try Given. First try of the match by Ronnie Kirkpatrick. Called up to the Scottish squad this season, and that takes Jed Forest well ahead at 13 points to 0. There's the drive by the Jed pack, and Kirkpatrick, who's got such tremendous timing and handling skills, just picked his moment to perfection, and down he went. So Scott Welsh kicks off again to get the game underway. Ronnie Kirkpatrick takes, feeds on to Callum Brown. Brown's away, held by Greg Oliver. Good lay back now, the Jed pack in full cry now. Armstrong waits and feeds. That's out to his brother, Kevin. Taken on now by his brother, Gary again. The Armstrong brothers in harmony here. Tremendous driving by the Jed pack. Miller changes the tactic. They up and under across field. Bannerman waits. Oh, and the kick ahead almost by Davy Gordon. Harry Hogg absolutely buried under green jerseys there, but Jed have won it again. Here's Armstrong away. Oh, and he's gone outside Whittaker. Can Armstrong get in at the corner? The handoff, and he's in at the corner. Would you believe it? Well, that's the power of this man. He's maybe not the fastest thing on two legs, but my goodness, he is strong. And the handoff from Kevin Whittaker. Well, there's the lovely ruck ball, and Armstrong just off in a flash. He scented the gap down that side. The wee check was enough to slow Whittaker up, and there's the pace, the acceleration to get away. Look for the handoff. There it is. Down you go, mate. And in at the corner. So Scott Welsh just kicking off again. Hawick now trailing by 17 points to 0. And back it goes to McKechnie at full-back. And he finds touch just on the Jed 10. Now the wind's really blowing up, and it's now blowing in almost in Hawick's favour. It was with Jed in the opening part of the first half, but it seems to have switched round and in Hawick's favour. The tap down by Dunnett in the line out. But Hawick's organisation there, the sweeper wasn't quite quick enough, and the deflection a wee bit off target. So there'll be a scrummage. That's McElroy in blue at the front of the Jedburgh scrum. Neil McElroy, one of the two young lads called into the Scottish squad last weekend. He's up against Kevin Beverley. Armstrong waits. Back to Miller. Oh, Miller under pressure there from Greg Oliver. Got the kick away, but it's not found touch. This is Whittaker. The cross-field kick. Hogg waits. And that bounced off Welsh's shoulder. And the hack on by Brian Hughes. Back goes Tony Stanger. Hughes very quickly gets the ball into hand, and Harry and his brother Barry it was actually who was up in support, and quick reactions there from the Hughes brothers. That's Barry, the younger one, just 21 years of age. Back it comes on the Jed side. Miller. This is Brian Hughes coming in from the faraway left wing. Great drive there though by Jim Hay, just cleared the Jed forwards out the road, and Hawick moving it left. This is Keith Sudden, and he's away. He's up over the Jed 10. This is the 22, McKechnie, with a magnificent tackle. Well, that was a great breakout there by the Hawick left winger. So Keith Sudden there just scampering away up the left wing there, showing the speed that he gets in the professional running circuit in the summer. But a tremendous tackle by Gregor McKechnie, poleaxing him right on the 22. Donald Miller to Harry Hogg. And Hogg, big 14-stoner, packs a good kick, but he's kicking into the wind and he hasn't found touch. This is Kevin Whittaker, looking for support, gets it from Stuart Graham. Like desperate to win this ruck ball. Kevin Beverley, up to tight side, 17 stones of him. Strong wind in Hawick's favour now. Ronnie Nichol leads out. This is Harris. Gets caught. Brought to ground, has to release. And Oliver. Good service to Welsh. Stanger coming in on the switch. Lays it back nicely, picked up by Jim Hay. The Hawick back driving now. Best piece of play we've seen from them. Oliver, the switch to the left. Derek Willison is almost there. Good move now by the Greens. Jed defending desperately around the fringes as Hawick switched direction. Well, that was very good play there by Hawick. They've gained something like 50 metres with a series of rucks and drives and switches. Jed try line. But he's pushed into touch there, or almost into touch. Jim Hay has. This is Oliver. Out it comes to Welsh. Welsh to Gordon. He's caught and upended in an absolutely crunching tackle. And the kick by Gary Armstrong, but Greg Oliver there being lectured very severely by Jim Johnstone, the referee, for some misdemeanour off the ball. And so the silliness of that, of course, is that Hawick had the advantage there in the impetus, and here are Jed getting the penalty attempt to clear their lines. Harry Hogg takes the kick to touch into the teeth of the wind, and there's half-time. So it's been a very successful first half for Jed Forest, with McKechnie leading the way with a drop goal and 2 penalties, and then tries by Kirkpatrick and Gary Armstrong. Jim Johnstone whistles to get the game underway. And Miller's long kick taken by Scott Welsh. But this Jed line getting ever closer to the Hawick try line. Hind got hands to that, taken by McElroy. He goes to ground, tries to set it back. Great ball for Armstrong, clean as a whistle. Hogg. This is Brian Hughes on the switch inside. Coming back to the strength of his wing forwards. Kirkpatrick trying to burrow it out there, rip it out. That's Callum Brown. This is Neil McElroy. Out it goes to younger brother Alistair McElroy. He gets caught in the corner. A tremendous covering tackle by Greg Oliver there on Alistair McElroy. There's young Alistair McElroy. 3 sets of brothers in the Jed team today, and the McElroys are one of these sets. You've got the Hughes boys and the Armstrongs, and he was almost in at the corner. Line out. Awkward ball here for Hawick to guard against. But they've managed to win it and secure it. Can they clear it? That was Tommy Smith feeding out there, but the clearing kick by, it was Greg Oliver. Very much under pressure, of course, and he's into the teeth of this wind. So all sorts of problems for the Greens at this stage of the game. That's the corner flag, just on the left of your picture. Here it is. That's how close Jed are to the Hawick try line. Quick heel, Armstrong scoops it away to Miller. This is Barry Hughes on the miss, trying to duck and dodge past. Again, Armstrong waits. Oliver gets the tackle in on McElroy. Big Mike Pringle driving in there, running his 17 stones to the fray. Danger here, and Alistair McElroy in at the corner. It was as simple as that. There he is, Alistair McElroy, his first National League try in his career, and this is his first season in the Royal Blue jersey. And it was a devilishly difficult situation for Hawick to defend against. They had to watch Gary Armstrong in case he went. So he drew them, and he popped it out to the young McElroy, and he's over. Rob Johnstone at the front of the Jed line out there. Hawick have. That soaking wet ball bouncing around there. It really is difficult for the players to hold it. Greg Oliver. Oh, good pass this time. It's to Kevin Beverley. They'll have a job stopping him. He's so big and heavy. Well, Jed have won that one. And that was a crucial ball for Jed Forest to win. It was a tremendous surge initially by Oliver, and then the pop-up pass to Beverley. He took half of the Jed side with him, but when the ruck was formed, it was the ball came out on the Jed side, and Armstrong cleared the touch. So Hawick down to 14. No second row man. Alan Dunnetoff. Armstrong gets away from Welsh. This is Brian Hughes. The wee chip ahead. Good cover by Grant Harris. Read the danger as Jed probed up this side. Kevin Barry with the throw. Up goes Pringle. Oh, the ball squirting away from Armstrong's fingers. McKechnie. Clever grubber kick, so difficult to deal with. Keith Sudden there. just unable to pick it up. But a Hawick man offside, and a penalty goal opportunity for Jed. Well, Alan Dunnett coming back onto the field. We struck that one better. Yes, that's straight through. McKechnie kicks his third penalty then to take Jed 24 points to 0 ahead. Scott Welsh on halfway. Kicks crossfield. McKechnie trying to dodge away from the Hawick follow-up tackle. Harry Hogg there. Armstrong may have knocked on. Now there could be advantage to Hawick. No, the roll away there by Bob Johnstone and Kevin Armstrong, but had Hawick had possession, I think Jim Johnstone would have allowed the game to continue, because he was looking for an advantage for Hawick. Bob Johnstone locking horns with Ronnie Nicholl in the front row of the scrum. Scott Welsh's pass, you could see the wind getting at it. Tony Stanger, out it goes to Bannerman. Bannerman caught and held by McKechnie. And Kirkpatrick there had run very intelligently to get himself placed between Nicky Bannerman and the Hawick follow-up. And there's the full-time whistle. And so Jed Forest claim their second ever National League victory over Hawick. They've played with such remarkable team spirit this afternoon and togetherness that Hawick were never quite able to stitch their own game together. And they found Riverside on this occasion a bit of an unhappy hunting ground. So Jed stay up amongst the leaders, unbeaten, and very much still in the hunt for the National League title. Jed Forest the winners by 24 points to 0. Well, Gary, that was a nice National League win over Hawick. What are you saying about that?
That's the second National League win over Hawick. It makes it even more special for the Jed boys. The team played well today, and hopefully it'll carry on.
What do you think are the strengths of this Jed side? It's a very young team, isn't it?
Well, the team has been playing for 2 or 3 years now, and we've built it up from Jed players. I think the strengths in the teams, everybody's want to work for one another. The back row, especially, they're fast, everything. They're winning 50-50 balls, and in the backs is playing well.
And of course it all worked for you today, because conditions were absolutely terrible, and yet you made the most of them.
That's right, we had the wind in the first half, and luckily the wind changed for us in the second half, so we had the wind both times. Right. And Hawick come back at us in the second half, all to their credit, but we hung on to our win. And 3 tries to 0, Gary, and one by you. Now, what do you remember of that, or was the blood rushing through the temples at the time? I was a wee bit late to the ruck, as usual, but I saw the Hawick men taking away to the left, and it left a big gap down our left-hand side, and I think it was either Ronnie or Neil popped the ball up, and I just headed for the corner, and luckily made it. What about Jed Forest for the rest of this season then? I mean, that's played 3-1-3 in the National League. Is it too early to predict anything further? Oh yes, there's plenty of other hard teams in the league. There's no easy games. We'll just take every game as it comes, and hopefully we'll do as well as we did today. So a quick look at the results after this third Saturday of National League action. 2 games postponed, as you can see, because of bad weather, but good wins for Edinburgh Accies and a first ever National League win in Division 1 for Curry against GHK. Jed beating Hawick, as we saw, Melrose 22-13 against Selkirk, and Stirling County again Gala's bogey team. So a quick look at the table then after these 3 Saturdays of National League rugby. Jed Forest and Stirling County still at the top, 6 points from their 3 games. Barramure, Edinburgh Accies and Heriots in hot pursuit, and Barramure and the Heriots of course have a game in hand. And down at the bottom of Division 1, GHK, Stewarts Melville and Selkirk still to get off the mark. Well, last Saturday we watched a splendid game at Twickenham when England beat the Barbarians. This weekend the Babas are down in the National Stadium in Cardiff, where they face a Welsh 15, which is controversially packed full of players from Swansea and from Neath. The Babas, however, as always, an intriguing, spectacular, international blend of famous players. Your commentator is Bill McLaren with Bill Beaumont.
This is gorgeous here. I mean, we thought we were going to have slanting rain all day, and the sun's out. And it's blue sky. Far Jones going on to Teague. Teague, the big man of Gloucester. Far Jones again. Out to Richard Lowe. Switching back to Far Jones. Barnes scuttling his way through. Beautifully along the line, Campese. Guscott, great chance here. Smoking Joe Stanley is away. Out there to Lafond. Lafond trying to cut inside. Edmonds put him on the wrong foot. Lafond in tight to Stanley. Another gorgeous try. Joe Stanley, 33 years old, scores the first try of the match, and Barbarians lead 10-3. Listen to the ovation. Barbarians cleverly fed the ball across towards Erbany to give the scrum half Nick Farr-Jones a bit of protection, because that slow ball down channel 1 is an absolute dead loss to the scrum half. There we are, scrums awarded. Wales have won 3 out of 5. Loud blast.
Fred Howard was quite right there to penalise Richard Lowe, because he opened the binding up and loosened it and fell straight into the gap.
Well, every time I see Paul Thorburn line up a kick as a Scot, and I naturally think of that time in 1986 when against Scotland he kicked the longest place goal that I've seen, measured at 64.22 metres. Now this isn't that distance, but that was some kick. And Thorburn has another one, and that was some kick. Oh! It hung up in the breeze, but it just had the legs. And the Welsh crowd are thrilled. 12 points to 9. They've played 28 minutes. Farr-Jones, Barnes, Stanley. Oh, nicely there to Campese. Lafond over the 22. Across there comes Ford. Lafond, lovely tackle by Ford. That's the second try-saving tackle by the lightly built Welsh right wing. Alan Edmonds in there as well. Steve Smith throws. Magnificent jump by Cutler. He must have been 2.5 to 3 feet off the ground there, the big fellow. They're trying to roll it. Arnold tried to get in to stop it. Now they've made a ruck out of it. Farr-Jones, Barnes missed out everybody to Campese. Campese halfway through. But Parfitt was in on the tackle there for the Welsh. Bridges, held by Smith. That's the Welsh goal line. Yes, and the maul has gone down and they'll have to scrummage. Chris Bridges there might have been better served just feeding it out and letting the guy in space get a kick in. And you can see the scrummage ball is pretty nigh perfect. Farr-Jones goes, and I've seen him do that before, and that is a surprise try because he went up the left-hand side. Nick Farr-Jones, the captain, has scored the second try for the Barbarians. Kevin Phillips. It was a big jump by Arnold, but Steve Cutler, the crafty Australian, nicked it out of his hands. The ball is playable, says Fred Howard. Farr-Jones, Barnes missed out Stanley to Guscott. Good tackling in midfield, Parfitt in there, Ring as well. Webster winning the ball. Fed out there from Morris to Evans. Great chances, Edmonds goes. Edmonds has Parfitt outside him. Up to the 22. And the long hat clearance by Erbany.
I think Alan Edmonds, who we see in the picture here, could well have been better advised in giving a quick ball out to Steve Ford. You see him here that he's moved off the left wing there. He's got Stuart Parfitt outside him. It's a 3-1. And really, Edmonds should have committed the defenders there before he passed the ball on.
And for the moment, there's going to be a penalty to Wales. This could cut the leeway to just 3 points. Paul Thorburn. Yes, the crowd tells you, don't they? Well, he's knocking them up. 4 penalty goals for Paul Thorburn. 18-15. They're almost up to half-time. A minute to go to the break. Steve Smith long. Erbany. Farr-Jones. Feeding on to Rush. Cutler drives. Farr-Jones nicely out to Lowe. Lowe playing standoff most of today, the New Zealand tight head prop, but it's Far Jones switching to Barnes, out to Cutler, Cutler to Campese. Campese dummies, feeds on to Steve Smith. Good Welsh tackling, they're inside the 22, though. Far Jones once more, Eric Rush. Rush trying to straighten, great tackle by David Evans. Far Jones once more, Campese, the chip to the corner for Lafont. Alan Edmonds is there, a good bit in front, but there's an offside decision against the Welsh backs, and it'll be another penalty, and as close as that. Fred Howard enjoying it. Oh, he was offside, is it? Fred Howard, who's having charge of his 16th cap international today, and building up a great reputation as one of the top referees in the world game. Well, Stuart Barnes has kicked well too. 2 penalty goals and 2 conversions. And it looks dead simple, doesn't it, from here? But, you know, you're kicking up into that big bank of spectators. Barnes then, oh, it gets it in, no bother. They are kicking well, Barnes and Thorburn. Another 3 points for the Barbarians. They lead now with a deficit of their leeway of 6, and they're a minute and a half into injury time at the break. 5 out of 6 for Stuart Barnes. 3 penalties and 2 conversions. Barbarians, though, with 2 very good tries to none. Now the still sun-dappled here at Cardiff, although there are some heavy clouds about, and rain was forecast, but the weather's stood up pretty well so far. Evans high, very good kick. Llewellyn got hands to it, back from Phillips. Bridges, Alan Edmonds, this is the top try scorer in Wales, on there to Webster. Webster's laid back a beauty, taken on by the big lad Paul Arnold. Bridges, switch to Evans. Evans half through, held by Cutler. Thrust again by Arnold, the 22-year-old in great form. Bridges switches, Evans at an overlap here. Thorburn going. Thorburn half through. Can he get it in? He's made it. The Welsh captain has scored a superb try, and the whole of Wales here is on its feet. That really was a stunning score. A big man using his physique to score. And what a day Paul Thorburn is having. What a moment of glory for the Welsh captain.
You see Bridges here, cleverly switches direction back to the blind side. David Evans draws his man, and really the Barbarians, he gets through Nick Farr-Jones. He thought Mike Teague would be very disappointed that he missed him there, and once Teague had missed him, then Thorburns a big strong leg, and there was no stopping him there. But certainly 1 or 2 Barbarians will be asking themselves about their tackling, but fair play to Thorburn, he took his chance well.
And if he kicks this one, Wales will be on terms. Thorburn. Oh, he can't miss. He's got a try, 4 penalty goals and a conversion. The referee's whistle goes for half-time. And we arrive there, all square, 21-21. Bridges, Evans. Evans has seen space, but he was taken out late.
Well, David Evans there chips it up, and really Mike Teague, he made his intentions pretty certain that David Evans wasn't going to get past him, and certainly.
Now then, that's the Barbarian 22. Well within range. Paul Thorburn then. Oh, it's another wonderful kick. He really has kicked so well today. A captain's role if ever one saw it. And Wales are in the lead, 24-21. They've played about 9 minutes of the second half. Farr-Jones, Barnes, Sharvey has come in from the other side. Sharvey on to Campese. But Campese knocked down in that tackle. by Bridges. A great chance here for Lafong. Lafong over the 22, changing his pace, feeding on there to Teague. Erbani's there as well. Far Jones. Richard Lowe, this great man from Waikato. Mark Jones has it for Wales. And here's Webster again, this human tank. Still inside the Welsh 22. They want a clean ball here, but holding in on the floor. And a penalty to Wales.
Well, Richard Webster's had a tremendous game here for Wales, and he's been at the bottom of everything. But not only has he tackled people, he's picked the ball up and he's made yardage all the time. And that is most heartening from a Welsh point of view. And I think all we'll see here it is again. Richard Lowe went on his own, the ball gets isolated.
Quick kick through there by Rush, the try is scored. And that puts the Barbarians into the lead. And that'll be a very popular try for Eric Rush. As I say, the only uncapped player in the Barbarians side, and a flanker that many countries would be delighted to cap. It came about so quickly. Paul Thorburn having the kick, but it rebounded off Rush, who leapt so high, and he's so desperately quick, this lad, over 15 metres. He got there before Alan Edmonds. Amazing acceleration. Stuart Barnes with 5 successful kicks as he pulled that round. Oh, it's a fine kick. His 3rd successful conversion to add to 3 penalty goals, and the Barbarians leading by 27 points to 24. Barbarians 10 metres line as Steve Smith throws, and Cutler once again got hands to it, and once again the Welsh infiltrated, but there was a little bit of elbowing at that line out. And Richard Lowe takes a dim view of something, but Far Jones didn't fiddle about, gave it to Jones, Rendell, Erbani. Far Jones once again, but a Welsh hand got over and stopped it. Now he's got it. Barnes missed out Stanley to Guscott. Guscott again, this sinuous runner. What a beautiful bit of running by the big lad. Feeding on there to Erbani. Erbani to Teague. Teague almost over the 22. Far Jones once more. Barnes. Along the line to Stanley. To Lafong. This is Campese. Campese will sweep outside. He's got Guscott. A great chance for Charvet. Charvet inside to Rush. Will Rush get his 2nd try? No, he won't. Alan Edmonds and Chris Bridges and Paul Thorburn made sure of that. But another wonderful bit of support work by Eric Rush, and a delightful piece of typical Barbarians rugby football. The crowd appreciated it. But Wales really under intense pressure now. 3 points behind. We're almost into injury time. As tight as that. Jones got hands to it. The feed on to Barnes. Barnes, it's a try for Guscott, and that's the clincher. Guscott, who scored 7 tries in 6 internationals for England, really tries it up for the Barbarians. 31 points to 24 they lead. We're a minute into injury time at the end of the match.
And so the Barbarians winning that game against Wales down in the National Stadium. Well, time now to switch our attention to the Courage Clubs Championship down in England. This is the 2nd week of league action there, and we're looking at 2 of the teams who are the bookies' favourites for the Division 1 title. It's Wasps against Leicester. Nigel Starmer-Smith is your commentator.